Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Green Bay Packers all-time leader Rashan, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. You can email us, PackersTotalAccess@gmail.com. You can text us 865-658-5824. Join alongside Tim in Green Bay here tonight to talk Packers-Bears. We're going to give you an update on the injury report. Everything Packers this evening as the chat's filing in. Appreciate y'all making us a part of your evening. Want to give a shout out to A-Fam. I see your comment, bud. I don't want to put it on the screen, but I greatly appreciate that. Appreciate the kind words there, man. And everybody following in the chat, thank y'all for making us part of your evening here as it is January 2nd, this glorious Thursday evening. Let's do this, Tim. Let's get it started right and give a shout-out to the good folks over at Ticket King, the official ticket provider of Packer Fan Total Access Live. Wisconsin-based since 92, specializing in Packers tickets. They're Wisconsin's largest ticket source with offices next to Lambeau and in Milwaukee. Click on the link in the video description. They'll send you to their website, theticketking.com. You can register as a customer and go ahead and start shopping for your Packers tickets. Again, that's Ticket King, the official ticket provider of Packer Fan Total Access Live. All right, man, we got a new injury report, Tim. Ready to dive into this Packers-Bears week. Obviously, it's a big deal for both teams, no matter what the record is. You kind of throw the records out. One of the most heated rivalries in the history of the National Football League. Actually predates the National Football League. Really excited to see Packers-Bears come Sunday at noon. Nothing better. Wrap up the season. Packers-Bears, cold Lambeau Field, noon game. Let's get it, man.
Yeah, let's get it started right.
The Bears still suck.
No, in all seriousness, though, we're hard on the Bears, but you're absolutely right, man. The rivalry goes back well before the days of the NFL, and let's be honest. I mean, arguably, there's no Packers without the Bears, and no Bears without the Packers, man. This rivalry has really been around a long time and kind of, really helped the league take shape and, always keep it entertaining. I mean, there have been many of Packers-Bears matchups in years past that didn't mean anything. Neither team was very good. And then we had some matchups when both teams were very good. And this year, one team's very good and the other team, not so much. But it's always a blast. Still holding out hope I might make it to the game Sunday. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, for sure. Holmes MD1 says, can we get some belt and boot to ass this Sunday like against the Saints? I hope that's the case, Holmes. I really do. Again, you got to kind of throw the records out when it comes to a rivalry like this, as you've seen earlier this year, right? The Packers squeaking out a win against the Bears. They're going to be ready to play, no doubt. I'm just excited to see how this team and this defense kind of rises to the occasion and create a little momentum going into the playoffs. Win, lose, or draw, you want to go in feeling like you're playing your best football. I think we would all agree we did not feel like that after last Sunday, right? Crazy. You played a pretty bad game and you still only lost by 2 points. You got to go into this one and try to create some serious momentum for the playoffs, no doubt, man. Let's do this, man. Let's hop on to Twitter real quick and kind of get some updates as Wes Hawkowitz put a tweet out and said, wide receiver Christian Watson with the knee stretched inside before Thursday's practice but didn't go outside. Linebacker Quay Walker, cornerback Jair Alexander, offensive lineman Andre Dillard, safety Evan Williams, safety Zane Anderson, and defensive lineman Brenton Cox Jr. aren't practicing. Those last three all rode bikes. So, again, to the best of my knowledge, Tim, Jair has not been put on IR yet. I would keep an eye on that. You don't need the roster spot right now. And I know there's some fans that were kind of upset that we didn't put him on the IR. Like, why would you keep him active? Why would you keep him active? As Spoon pointed out, I think it was last week, you don't need the roster spot right now. So why would you, right? There's no reason to.
And at this point, you've gone so long, you might as well. Let's keep our fingers crossed for Super Bowl aspirations. Be a nice birthday present to Jair for us to make it down to New Orleans and play in the Super Bowl on his birthday, and maybe he'll be available. You never know. Yeah,
never know for sure, man. And again, we're keeping our Super Bowl hopes alive here. I know a lot of Packer fans have just kind of we don't have a chance. I remember 2010. I'm not thinking like that at all. That's for sure. So again, with these guys not practicing, you guys know where I stand. If they're not 100%, let's keep them inactive, let them rest up and get ready for the playoffs, right? But Matt LaFleur's made it pretty clear he's playing starters that are healthy, no doubt. We're treating this just like any other week. Let's go out there, get our work in, try to get a dub, create a little momentum. So, again, Wes Hawkowitz with a great tweet there giving you an inside look at at the practice and all that stuff. Love that behind the scenes top material from Wes. Let's do this. Let's take a quick look at the injury report in its entirety. We'll just kind of group everybody up. Did not participate were Jair Alexander, Zane Anderson, Brenton Cox Jr., Andre Dillard, Quay Walker, Christian Watson, and Evan Williams. All right. Limited and on veteran rest was Elton Jenkins and Tucker Kraft. Also limited with ankle injuries were Chris Brooks, running back, and Javon Bullard, safety. So they were limited with the ankle injury. And in full participation today was Devonte Wyatt. Feel really comfortable saying we will have Wyatt back. And, it's something we've kind of glossed over all week long, Tim. Devonte Wyatt was having a pretty good game when he got hurt, when he got that concussion, right? And who knows how he would have finished the game? Who knows how the game would have ended up if he could have stayed in the game? But his PFF grade was one of the highest. It was just like 12 snaps, though. So maybe he's starting to cut the corner too. Hopefully there's not too rust coming back from this concussion for Wyatt.
I think the last handful of games for Devonte Wyatt have been pretty solid. And he's one of those young players that you root for, because he's, like you said, kind of rounding the turn and making strides. But, injuries are a part of football. Unfortunately, it happens. And they always seem to happen at the worst possible time, as we always say, as if there's ever a good time to get injured. Maybe on a golf course, in the middle of spring or something, I guess. But other than that, it's just part of football. And, him progressing through the protocol is a good sign. So like you said, hopefully he's back sooner than later, because Devonte Wyatt looks like one of those guys to me, like the more snaps he gets, the better he's going to be. And, we haven't really seen him get, a big workload really until this season. Kind of last year, he kind of came on a little bit more, getting more reps. But this season, I feel like his snap totals were up a lot higher. And like you said, we're starting to see improvement. Granted, he's not there yet. I'm not saying like he's 100% there, but that's a guy you want on the field, man. So hopefully he's back.
Yeah, for sure. Holmes MD1 says, Clay, the Packers may call us to play in the secondary. Facepalm. They ain't calling me, bub. Let me tell you something. It takes everything in me to get up these steps right now with this right knee of mine. 42 is kicking my ass. There's no two ways about it, Tim. It is ear holing me in the moment right now. But it's everything to get on this bike and try to get that 15-mile ride in every day. But boy, oh boy, I'm telling you, coming up the steps to get to the bike. Once I'm on the bike, I'm good. But getting on and off the bike too, this knee is cracking and popping. It's bad shape. Ain't no way I'm going to be in no secondary anytime soon, man. That's for sure.
We'd like to think we could, right? In your brain and your heart, you feel like you still got it, but your body's just like, nah, bro, sit down.
I'd like to think that I could lay on the couch a little more often is what I'd like to think. That's the stage of life that I'm at for sure. Looking like this down there. You know what I mean?
Oh my gosh. That's wait, put that back up. That's Clayton looking for that Cheeto that fell under the couch cushion.
That's exactly right.
He's trying to make sure Lincoln don't get it before he does.
Lincoln, if you find that Cheeto, hand it up here. If you sniff it out down there, that's it right there for sure. Let's see another tweet Ryan Wood had put out by Ryan Wood on Twitter, said, Jeff Hafley congratulates Rashan Gary on his first Pro Bowl, acknowledges everyone looks at sacks, but, quote, that's not the entire game. For edge defender, especially notes Gary's run defense. Have y'all heard of that before? Quote, I think he's a huge part of that. I think he's disruptive in the run game. He sets edges. And I was going to play the entire clip because he went a little more in detail. And again, this is something we pointed out all year long. I was cracking up on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy this morning. And Steve, I think Steve Cook on Twitter hit me up about this. He tends to watch the show. I try to catch it every time I can. And I've got a lot of respect for former players, that's played the game. I want to hear their opinion on what's going on, whether I disagree with it or not. I want to know, all right, this guy's been there, been at that level. I'd never even sniffed it. But they were kind of talking about, well, Gary had a bad year. Why did he make the Pro Bowl? And then Jen on there said something along the lines of, unless there's something we're not seeing in the run game or something, we've been screaming it all year long. Like you can tell the pass rush, the way that it's constructed this year is to control the run game, control the QB scrambles, and keep the quarterback in the pocket. That's another thing he talked about, was keeping the quarterback in the pocket. Jeff Hafley mentioned that today. Playing defense isn't about getting a bunch of sacks and just, bolstering your stats, right? I could care less on sack numbers. It's about keeping the other team from hitting explosive plays, right? And making sure you're taking the ball away while protecting the football on offense. That's how you win the majority of your games of football. So, again, I thought it was cool that Hafley pointed that out, something we've been talking about all year. He specifically mentioned,
Oh, and just like you're saying, hearing on the old radio there, it's awesome to hear, put in that perspective. Like maybe there's something we're not seeing in the run game, which, implies that it's there, but you're not seeing it. And that's exactly what it is. Just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not happening. And that's not a knock on anyone. That's just, having that, as a fan or an analyst, journalist, whatever, someone who doesn't play, someone who only can watch and, talk about it. It's important to have that thinking cap on when you think of these players. You're thinking Rashan Gary, you're thinking edge rusher, pass rusher, sacks, pressures. It's cool to acknowledge the fact that maybe you're not looking for that other stuff that is showing up on the game film when you're just looking for the flashy stuff that you're normally used to seeing when it comes to Rashan.
Absolutely. And Chris Nichols in our Patreon group, I won't put it on the screen. We'll just read it here and make things a little more streamlined. He said, Clayton, you may have discussed this morning, so if so, disregard. I'm surprised Rashan Gary made the Pro Bowl. Was that justified? Is he really a top 3 at his position? Go Pack, go. Well, it's not necessarily about being a top 3, in my opinion. Listen, the Pro Bowl you got to take with a grain of salt. It's a popularity contest is what it is. Yeah. Now, am I glad that Rashan got it? Absolutely. I think he's well-deserved of it. The way he battled his ass off to come back from that knee injury last year, the way Jeff Hafley pointed out, he's playing very unselfish this year. Sometimes he's the free runner at the quarterback on those stunts. Other times he's the guy occupying the double team. He's been very unselfish, very gap sound from a standpoint of stopping the run. So I think it's awesome that he got kind of highlighted there. And Gary was actually interviewed at his locker, and he basically said, I hadn't really thought about it much. I'm paraphrasing. We're on to something bigger right now. Like his mind is Super Bowl. I could care less about that. So to answer Chris's question there, do I think he's deserving of it? Is it justified? He's the best defensive lineman on the Green Bay Packers roster, right? The Green Bay Packers have a legit top 10 defense this year. I mean, do I think it's justified? He wouldn't have been my top choice, obviously, but it's not about top choice. He's not a starter on the Pro Bowl team. He got selected to the Pro Bowl. So, yeah, I think it is justified. But you guys know I am in the extreme minority with that opinion. I'm probably in the 1 percentile of Packer fans that thinks Gary's done a good job this year. Everybody seems to think he's just hot trash now. So I thought it was I can't lie. It was a little bit it's a word I'm looking for, satisfying to see so many people getting handed to him. Because it's like I feel like the dude's earned it. That's just
let me ask you a question. Is there anyone that didn't get picked up that you thought might have? Because
talking about the Packers roster.
Yeah. I was a little surprised that Zach Tom didn't get a Pro Bowl nod.
That's one. And this is what kind of bothers me though, is because like this is Gary's first choice, right? Like his first selection to the Pro Bowl. It's kind of like his moment, right?
Yeah.
And Packer fans immediately shifted the focus to, well, I don't think it's fair. I think Tom should have got it over Gary. I think this guy should have got it over Gary. And it's like, why does it have to be like this always? This is good news, right?
Right.
As far as Zach Tom, would I have selected Zach Tom over Rashan Gary? Absolutely. But damn, do we really got to steal the guy's shine right now? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm not even saying over. I'm saying in addition to.
It's in addition.
Add them to the list, right?
Yeah. It's and on the surface, like from a tape standpoint, I felt like Zach Tom didn't have his best game against the Vikings. So you think, well, maybe it's just recent bias, right? Like people seen him on, they say, I don't know, we won't vote him in. But we know that's not how the Pro Bowl works. People are voting all year long, right? So kind of is what it is there for sure. Yep. But all right, let's see. Let's go back to Twitter real quick. And again, thank you to the Patreon group. Appreciate you, Chris, for the question there for the group. And I just said there with Rashan Gary, it's just all over the tape. Now, this was interesting. ML Football put this out and said, who is the better safety, Xavier McKinney or Kirby Joseph? I hate Kirby Joseph with a passion. I think he's a dirty football player, right? That's just me personally. I don't like the dude. I don't like how he carries himself on the field. He's classless. He's shredded 2 knees now, completely diving at people's knees. Like, and for the argument of, well, what do you expect him to? I expect him to wrap up and tackle like a damn man. I don't expect him to launch himself at someone's locked out knee that's in the turf. That's what I expect him to do. Any other questions, Einstein? Like, that's the way I see that. But if you're asking me which one's been better this year, I've got to concede. I feel like Kirby Joseph's had the better year. But it's like this close.
Yeah.
Xavier McKinney's a dog. And you ask me which one would you rather have on your team, I'd rather have X because X has got some class. He's a leader, all that. So that's just me personally. What do you think about that right there, that question, man?
Yeah, 100% agree. I'm surprised you got through that without using foul language because as soon as I saw Kirby Joseph's name, I just wanted to start cursing. Because I feel the same way. The talent's there, right? Athletic ability, he, good player, all that stuff, but there's so many things that take away from that. So yeah, you're right. I don't know about who's better. You're probably right. Kirby Joseph probably has that, that 0.5 or that 1.0 edge over X. But, at the end of the day, if you're putting a football team together and you got to pick one of these guys to put back there, I'm going to pick X every time for those same reasons you just said. Character, leadership, accountability, the way he conducts himself out there. That's my guy all day.
Yeah, no doubt. Chris Ian in the chat says, Clayton, I love Gary. I wasn't trying to slide him with my question. I know you wasn't, buddy, and I'm sorry if it came across like that. When I seen Bane in it, I know you wasn't trying to slide him, right? Because anytime mentions Bane, Gary, we know what that means. That dude's a madman, right? So, I didn't take it that way, and I apologize if it came across like
all
that.
of those stop playing with him moments on the sideline. That's Bane Gary mode right there.
Exactly.
Ask all the sideline reporters who are terrified of Rashan Gary.
Yeah,
they know who Bane Gary is.
Yeah, and Elijah in the chat said, I think he's a bum. I think he's talking about Kirby Joseph. We need that sound drop, Tim, of Aaron Rodgers going, I think he's a bum. We need that. We got to get that.
All right, we got to get that.
Remind me about that because that's a must-have for sure.
Well, we have that other Aaron Rodgers soundbite for Kirby Joseph. You remember that one?
Which one is that, Tim?
Like all the players after they play a game against Kirby Joseph, they all end up saying,
On my knee.
Exactly. Hey, if you get a chance, go watch Matthew Stafford just cut him up on the field when that happened. When he took out Higbee, he's like, hey, good job. Good job. You're dirty. You're a dirty-ass player. Good job. It was awesome. Matt Stafford being –
Dude, Matt Stafford mic'd up. There's some gold moments there over the years.
When he messed up his shoulder or collarbone or whatever it was and still went out there and threw the touchdown. God, you're talking about gutsy, bro.
Yeah, man.
Ron Sanville says, interesting that Kirby Joseph won the fan votes and X was second after the players and coaches voted X won and Joseph didn't make it at all. Love it. Amen to that, buddy. Harry Cheese, Gary has played great. People just like numbers and something to quantify performance. Watch the tape. He's done his job well. I completely agree with that. Completely agree. Greg Rice says Jason Wilde was on Gary's case and said it was a popularity contest. His proof of the lack of meaning of the award is that Saturday made the Pro Bowl the year Green Bay benched him, talking about Jeff Saturday that year. And listen, there's some validity to that. There is. Jeff Saturday played center so bad that they benched him. He still made the Pro Bowl. It's a popularity contest. It is. Yeah. But, again, it's just when Gary gets voted to the Pro Bowl by the fans, it drives me insane that there's a portion of the fan base that want to try to find a negative in that. I don't understand it. It doesn't help your team. It's just, the miserables being miserable. And it sucks because I find ourselves talking about the miserables more than anything on here. And I got to get better. I say it's me. It's all me. I just got this Irish in me. And I'm like, I can't take it when people say, especially when they spout off at the mouth, and they don't even know what they're talking about. Like, and there's some players that, hey, Gary just ain't, okay, cool. Explain why. Explain the tape to me. I haven't watched the tape yet, but it's just something's okay. So got it. You haven't even watched the tape. That's all I needed to hear. And there was one of the guys on that morning show today that you could have heard a pin drop, and he has been the biggest Gary hater all year long. And I'm telling you, I couldn't tell you how many times I had to do this on the mower this year. Skip, because he'd start talking like he's this damn authoritarian figure, and never once did they go, here's the specific situation. Here's the assignment. Here's the breakdown. Here's exactly what he was supposed to do on this play, and he sucked and screwed it up. It's just, his sack total's down. Oh, got it. Box score watcher. Oh, it drives me crazy.
Don't put that name in my mouth right there.
Perfect. So, again, back to Kirby Joseph. He's a bum, all right? That's what we want to say about Kirby Joseph. He's going to get his, boys. I'm just telling you, it's coming.
Oh, it'll happen.
Listen.
Goes around, man.
Yeah, what goes around comes around. That's, law of attraction, sowing and reaping. If you're a believer like me, all that's sown into the earth. That's a rule that's sown into every fabric of our being as human beings. And I'm telling you right now, his is coming, and it's going. When it comes, I'm not going to wish injury on anybody or anything bad, but when it comes, I'm just going to go, not surprised, because you have sown a lot of bad seed there, sir. A lot of bad seed. All right. Next tweet here, Edgerrin Cooper. I put Edgerrin Cooper is checking all the boxes. Wes Hokowitz tweeted out, per NFL research in Minnesota, linebacker Edgerrin Cooper became the first rookie since Micah Parsons in 2021 to record at least 10 tackles and 4 tackles for a loss in a single game. Cooper leads all rookies with 12 tackles for a loss. He's played 433 defensive snaps. That's 52% of the Packers total. So, again, what does that mean? He's leading all rookies with 12 tackles for a loss, and he's only played in 52% of the Green Bay Packers snaps. Wild to think about. I've seen people getting on Jeff Hafley and getting on Matt LaFleur for kind of stealing some of Edgerrin Cooper's shine, like saying, why do they always talk him down? Why do they talk him down? What are they saying specifically? What they're saying is true. Like what, Hafley said earlier today was like, yeah, there's sometimes he shoots a shot and he shouldn't, right? That's essentially, I'm paraphrasing. Tim, we see it on the tape, right? If they run play action, Cooper's going to get burnt. But boy, oh boy, when they run the football, is he not in the backfield before anybody knows what's going on?
Yep. Like Greg Rice just said, Coop is balling. And it jumps off the tape because we've said this a lot this year. It doesn't look too big for him out there. You watch him play, and if I didn't know he was a rookie, I would think he'd just been in this league for 10 years already, the way he's playing. There's always stuff to work on and clean up, and his game will continue to improve and expand and evolve as he grows into his professional years and career. But, like Brambo's saying here, does he have a shot at Defensive Rookie of the Year? I think he does. Braden in here also, Defensive Rookie of the Year. I think the only thing that might prevent him from getting there is the reps and the snap counts, because he hasn't played a complete season, right? We didn't really get to see him until, pretty much halfway through the year, probably. We really started to see him get peppered in there and get some reps. So I don't know. What do you think, Clay?
Yeah, I mean, Ron Sandoval, this is what I've seen too. Like, you can see half as he's talking about him, he's kind of smirking like he knows he's got something here. We're going to hit on another tweet here in a second. Matter of fact, I'll see if it's coming up. It may be next. So this is going to be kind of a combo tweet here, all right? I put Packers defensive coordinator Jeff Hafley hints at a specific package for Edgerrin Cooper doing something we haven't seen yet. Quote, he looked great doing it today, all right?
I hope they call the package Frosty. They gotta call it Frosty.
Oh, my God. Freaking beautiful. So remind me to come back to the Zane Anderson one, all right? This is what I was referring to right here since we're talking about Edgerrin Cooper. This was the soundbite from Jeff Hafley saying this, and there was it cut off a little early on me, so I apologize. He's like right in the middle of saying something else that was complimentary of Edgerrin Cooper. Again, if you just read some of the tweets, you go, why is Hafley hating on Cooper? Now listen to what he says right here.
I don't know if they're sliding to him, but they were certainly aware of where he was.
I was going to say, so putting him on the edge at times, is that one of the things you can do to maximize his pass rush?
There's a lot of things we can do to maximize his pass rush, and I think we're just scratching the surface. We did some fun things with him today that he looked pretty good at doing, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. We'll have to wait until we see it on film one of these days. But I just think in time, like you asked about Board, right? I mean, you just got to be careful with how much you give him early, and then it just like eventually you fill up a glass and everything just spills out. So you just got to go slow with it. And I think he's progressed well. He's another guy, though, that he's been injured and he hadn't practiced as much, and now he's starting to get into it. So hopefully that consistency goes.
Yeah, he really went to bat for Javon Bullard again. Yeah. And again, so the player that played the best, they're knocking down a notch. The player that played the worst, they're trying to build him up a little bit. And that's leadership 101.
I love Hafley, man.
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to put him on the edge, and, you think about, yeah, dude, I'm going to tell you my game plan. I'm going to tell you everything that we're doing.
Love it. Definitely. And Holmes MD1 Frosty with the horse emoji. Yes, sir. I love it. And Randy Cleavers says Cooper's going to be an all-pro. Tim, I believe that with everything in me, man. Again, that stat we read off y'all. Nobody's done that since Lawrence Taylor. Is that what the stat read?
Yep.
I think so. When you start seeing stuff like that, you go, okay, it could be a fluke, but week in and week out, you see him flash, you see him flash, you see him flash. You guys know we drew the comparison of Micah Parsons a couple weeks ago, actually a couple of days ago. That was something that got brought up with some of the
That's
stats.
who it was on that last.
Was it? Okay, so it was
Micah Parsons, 2021. Yep.
And the reason I drew the parallel with Lawrence Taylor is because when Micah Parsons was blowing up his rookie year, everybody was going, this looks like Lawrence Taylor. Like this, it really does look like Lawrence Taylor. So we're way ahead of the cart there, obviously. But I really do feel like Edgerrin Cooper is going to be he's going to be an all-pro. There's no doubt in my mind, man. J. Cole in the chat says, yeah, people need to relax on Bullard. I think Emilio, that we know Emilio's burner account here now. J. Cole. Well, go ahead, Tim.
He's right, though, because I was a little tough on Bull after that loss.
Yeah.
And I think that's because my predisposition is to like him in the slot. I don't know. I just love the way he plays in the slot. I feel like that's the spot to develop him at. But again, I'm not a coach, so I don't know. But he could very well be an all-pro in the future. So could Evan Williams in the future. So I think what Hafley's saying there is spot on. We need to pay attention to stuff like that. You fill a glass too much too quick, it just spills out all over the counter anyway, and you made a big mess. So you got to look at these players that way. You got to give them a little bit at a time, allow them to develop and make that a part of their game, and then they can carry that full glass of skills around the whole year and hopefully get us over the hump. So I just love the way Hafley's handling this defense, and I sincerely hope he's here for more than 2 or 3 years, like the last crop of DCs that we've had in Green Bay. So we'll see.
Yeah, definitely. And to go along with J. Cole's comment here, yeah, people need to relax on Bullard. Jeff Hafley in this video here, and I wish I could crank it louder, guys. I've got as loud as I can, so just turn your TVs up. Everybody on the pod, I'll make sure it's edited so you can hear it just fine. But Jeff Hafley explains how the Zane Anderson injury caused a major shakeup on defense Sunday versus the Vikings. Again, still only lost by 2 points, having to deal with all this. Here we go.
I'm not mistaken, I think it was either you or Matt earlier in the year said, to have to go from playing the nickel all week in practice like Javon did, and then, move to safety is a tough ask.
Yeah.
But yeah, you asked him to do it
I know.
past week. What did you think?
Yeah, it's really hard. And it's not just hard on him, it's hard on Key. This week, what made it really hard is, Bullard just got back to practice. He wasn't even practicing. So he was limited in practice. So the reps we gave him were at the nickel position. We were fired up to get him in at the nickel position. We moved Key back out the corner and, felt good with Zane at safety. And, just like that, it's, Ryan Downer and I are talking on the headset. What direction do we want to go? Do we want to make the move? Who do we want to play safety? Who do we want to play nickel? And, now X is playing next to a guy that he hadn't practiced all week with and communicated with. And Key's awesome. He has to jump in and play the nickel position. And we had a lot of things game plan specific for the team we were going to play. And that's hard, but it's not an excuse. I mean, is it harder because he's a rookie? Yeah. I mean, that's really hard. And I give him a lot of credit because he hadn't done any of that all week. And he played physical and he played hard. And, I said to him after the game,
All right, so that's the part that got cut off. I apologize, but he said after the game, I've got your back, is what he said to Bullard. He said, I told Bullard after the game, I got your back, man. I know what you did this week. I know what you had to go through. So, and again, coming back from injury, missing practice time, as well as preparing to play nickel in that specific defense. I know there's some people going, oh, that's no excuse. No, seriously. You're drawing up a specific game plan for a team, and you got to know your keys. You got to know your spots. You got to know your checks. He said in the later part of the press conference how Xavier McKinney's kind of the quarterback back there as well. So just, whoever's wearing the green dot, they're relaying the message in. They set the defense, and then on the backside, Xavier McKinney's calling out checks, right? Well, you practice all those checks, you being Bullard in the slot all week long, and now all of a sudden you're at safety. You're going to be off on some of your checks. So like that play specifically that we mentioned, that was cover 6 match on Chalk Talk. I guarantee you Bullard didn't understand that, hey, once the 2 crosses my face, I'm going looking for the 1 underneath. Because we know if he breaks that threshold, Key's got the 1 deep. Once the 2 crosses my face, Now I've got underneath responsibility on the one, talking about the
Yep.
receivers, right? And when we say 1, 2, 3 receivers, it's real simple. Outside in, your outside receivers are ones. Then the second is a 2, then a 3, and if there is a 4, it'd be a 4. Some people call the running back on a trip side the 4. I like to specify as the T, so we know exactly what we got in the backfield. But does that make sense, though, Tim? Like what he's saying with Bullard, I love that he's going to bat for his guys, man.
I do too, and I like that. Makes me feel like I'm seeing the game better because he hit on something that I mentioned, which was it affects Keyshawn Nixon as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're talking about guys and how they prep. You know, Keyshawn's been playing a lot of boundary this year, and it's one thing to put him back in the slot with a week of prep, knowing that you're going to need him in the slot versus you're starting on the boundary, you're, 18, 19 snaps into the game, and all of a sudden back to the slot you go. It's tough. And I think, there's some truth to the notion that, well, he looked a little shaky out there. Yeah, Bullard looked a little shaky. He's a rookie coming off an injury, being asked to switch positions very quickly. And then think about like your responsibilities, like you talk about when you're playing slot. I guarantee you, whether he's, hammered down or he's pressed up or he's playing soft or he's playing match or whatever, he's got more responsibilities behind him than he does in front of him necessarily on most plays. Now you move him back to the back end of the defense and everything's in front of him. And we saw him getting lit up when he's supposed to hammer down or when he's supposed to rotate over, like you talk about the underneath. Yep. That should almost be expected when you have no preparation whatsoever. I mean, that's pretty close to just throwing anybody out there. We talk really cavalierly as fans about, oh, well, maybe we can throw a corner back to safety, or maybe we can. It's
all
like,
the time.
Yeah, sure. Like, you mean like in Madden when you just, hit your depth chart and move guys around and they magically play? Okay.
Oh, and his overall went up too.
Yeah.
His overall grade went up when I moved him to safety. Correct?
Yeah, exactly. Isn't that amazing? He's an 89 now. Oh, okay. Sure. Yeah, this is real grown men out there, playing for real money, real stakes on a real field with a real ball. So it's not quite that easy. And that's why those players that are able to do that, right? The Charles Woodsons of the world that, they can pretty much play in, 2 or 3, even 4 spots on that defense sometimes. Those are rare, and you've got to, appreciate them when you got them. So we just need to give Bullard some time, man. I would love to see him on a Packer team that's healthy and everybody's playing where we want them to play, Yeah,
for sure. Randy Cleaver says, we have to remember, everyone, it's a new defensive scheme. We had injuries, and it's still better than what we had. It's going to come together nicely. It's a great point, just putting things into perspective there, Randy, for sure. Coach Lynn says, even when Williams is back, I still think Zane will play a good amount of snaps. That could be the case, and maybe that's the answer too, Tim. Take a few snaps away from Javon Bullard and go to that true big nickel, right? And have Evan Williams crank down in the slot, have Zane on the field. Coach, I seen the same game you did. Zane Anderson played he played outside of his mind.
Yep.
There's just part of me that still goes, are we getting ahead of the cart here with Zane?
Right.
And that's the pessimist in me. That's the, plan on the worst, hope for the best type person that I am. I'm the most boring human being on the face of the earth. But what he showed us, I wouldn't be surprised if you're spot on here, Coach, that he does see a little bit more playing time. That could be the case. He's damn sure going to be out there on special teams every week like he has been because, man, he's a missile. Just got to keep that head up, Tim. Got to keep that head up.
Absolutely. And you know what? With the injury report looking like it does, right? We're thin at certain spots on the defensive side of the ball. And, bottom line, the more personnel we get back for the playoffs, the better. So if Zane's back and he gets 15 snaps on defense, that's great. I'll take it. And we get him on special teams, and it does. It frees up some flexibility with Evan Williams. But again, we have to remember also that's another guy coming back from injury, right? So we got to be kind of patient with him. Same for Quay Walker, at linebacker. Hopefully we see Quay here in the postseason. We can't expect these guys to just come out and be lights out. It's going to take them a series or 2 to kind of get their legs under them, and we got to be prepared for that as fans.
Yeah, Coach Lynn, again, pointing out, he was flashing in minicamp. He had 3 picks in one practice. I remember that.
I do,
and that's when the joke came out.
I synced it, Clay.
Yeah, you seen it firsthand, didn't you? That's
yes,
right.
sir.
Yeah. Daryl in the chat said, Clay is the offensive coordinator. Tim is the defensive coordinator. That's right, Daryl.
Let's go.
And our team is 0-17, I promise.
No, come on, man. We're 1-16. You know that.
Yeah, we could
Beat
probably
at least one
we
team,
probably
man.
could pull out a win against the Bears. You're right, Tim. I think you're right there. Check this out, though. Speaking of wins, we got us a dub here. You guys remember when we unveiled the Yak and Cheese box and all that? The first person I remember seeing do it. Now, I think we were the first ones to say Yak and Cheese. Someone in our chat said Yak and Cheese, and I went, oh, that's gold.
Yep.
And I think we tweeted it out. And then Baz put a tweet together with a Photoshop that looked like this box right here, right? Which was just absolutely awesome. Well, now Tucker Kraft tweeted this out. Actually, Jacob Morley shared his Instagram story, shared Tucker Kraft's Instagram story, said, Kraft, Yak, and Cheese, we did it. And I just quote tweeted him and put mission accomplished as you got Tucker Kraft sitting next to 85 Packer on a box, and it says Yak and Cheese, Kraft, Yak, and Cheese. So he said officially 85 boxes of Kraft, Yak, and Cheese richer. So
I get how they did it. That's cool.
Pretty
so
neat.
85 Packer, like that's one big box with 85 boxes. Yep. I love it.
Let's get it. I need to pick up one of those just to have it.
You know what's crazy is I'm wondering if this is what the delivery truck looked like. Maybe those are just barrels of the Yak and Cheese right there.
Absolutely, man. It's cool, man. I love that Tucker Kraft is so connected to the fans too. You know, like you can just tell he gets it. He's a dude you want on your roster. You know, if he continues to play at the level he is, he doesn't even have to get much better, Tim. Although I think he will.
Yeah.
If he just plays at this level, I'm already going, 3 years, get him another contract. That's our tight end. Imagine how he's going to be able to master the nuances of those choice routes, whether he's playing YU or flexing the backfield or even out wide. Man, that play where we went Trey right and we put Tucker on the outside wide, right, flexed out wide, and then ran that lead orbit swing to Emmanuel Wilson. The thought of him potentially matched up on a cornerback, blocking a cornerback, with Emmanuel Wilson a full steam up. Oh, my gosh, man. I love it. Absolutely love it. So, Tucker Kraft, the man of the people. There's no two ways about that. Love that dude.
Yeah, he fits the mold of what it means to be a Packer. That was evident right away. We saw that as soon as we drafted him, and now, you just see him in year two, man, continuing to just do great things. And I think you're right, Clay. I hope he's here for the long haul. I really do.
Yeah, Randy Cleaver says Tucker Kraft, another All-Pro in the making. I believe that, man.
Yep.
I really do. I can see that happen. So I tweeted this out, a Bill Belichick quote. You hear me say it all the time. Quote, we're building a team, not collecting talent. Matt Schneidman put a tweet out here. You're going to love this, Tim. Matt Schneidman said the Packers players voted center Josh Myers as the team's Ed Block Courage Award recipient. Myers lost his father in camp and has missed one game while dealing with multiple injuries. Some telling quotes from Jordan Love to Mike Spofford on what Myers means. And there's an article there. Go check it out at Packers.com. I don't want to steal their thunder and share the article here on the show. You guys go give it a click. Go give them some support. Retweet this tweet. Listen, I've been very vocal about Myers. I think we could do much better at center. But boy, oh boy, with what he's dealt with this year, and this award right here tells you how his teammates feel about him. I'm not going to be surprised. I'm not saying I agree, but I'm not going to be surprised if the Packers re-sign him and say we want him to be the center of the future. And I don't think there's anybody else on the roster that I want to succeed more than I want Myers to. His dad played ball at Kentucky. I found that out this year, and obviously his pops passed away this year. A man that'll puke on the ball, snap it, and run the play. Like, this is my dude right here, man. This is that guy that you want to go smash daddy sodas with on a Saturday night. Like, this is the guy, right? And what's crazy is how humble he was talking about the chain, the charm that Josh Jacobs got him. I just want him to up his game. And I know he wants to up his game more than anyone, right? But again, I wouldn't be surprised if the Packers look up and go, no, we think he's playing well. Let's re-sign him. I know from a leadership standpoint and from a camaraderie standpoint, that would be huge for his teammates. This is a pretty cool award here, man. You're the first person I thought of, Tim, when I seen it.
Yeah, man. And this is what I talk about. This is what it means to be a Green Bay Packer. This type of character right here. And, it is when it comes down to it, whether or not he's going to continue to be a Green Bay Packer in the future, that's going to come down to what he does on that football field. And if he can continue to make strides and, make a good case for himself to be our center, I could see it happening. I think you're right, Clay. There's a possibility that they keep him around. But if not, hey, it's not going to be for any other reason than that. Like we always say, criticize play, not the player. And to be able to deal with what he's dealt with in just a short time this season and to just basically never miss the field. I mean, other than that game, right? I mean, he's been banged up a lot, dealing with a lot, and he's one of those gritty guys too, grits through it. And I don't know if you guys saw, did you see that mic'd up with him earlier this year? That was just, if you get a chance, go to the Packers site and check out, Josh Myers mic'd up, man. You'll see what this guy is to that team on the field in the heat of battle. So lots of reasons to love Josh, only a handful of reasons to not want him to be your center. And I'm hoping that maybe some of those get cleaned up on the field. Maybe he hangs around because, I mean, this reeks of JRJ all over again, right, Clay?
It really does, man. It kind of feels like his athleticism, his size, everything. The Packers are not the only person that had a second-round grade on him, I promise you. So when he hits free agency, if the Packers see it the way we do and think he's not worthy of like top center money, they'll probably be a team that'll overpay for him, like they did for John Runyon, right? I can see that for sure. So, yep. All right, let's see here. Next thing, this is pretty cool. Aaron Rodgers haters, you might want to flip the channel. I'm sorry, Jordan Love haters, you might want to flip the channel here real quick. Felipe Rice Assetti on Twitter. You can go follow him at @Assetti_Felipe. Said Jordan Love's 3.5% turnover-worthy play rate while facing pressure is the second lowest rate for a Packers quarterback in the last 10 years. 2018, Aaron Rodgers, 2% turnover-worthy play rate while facing pressure. Jordan Love's the second best in the last decade at 3.5%. Pretty wild stat there. Minimum of 50 dropbacks to clarify that statistic. Again, man, he's protecting the football here during Toyota-thon, right? There's no two ways about that. He's this close to putting it all together. And this last game, you look at the stats and go, man, he only passed for 50 yards through 3 quarters. Listen, you can't look at that stat without throwing in the details of how has the game flowed. How did this game play out, right? I think he made mistakes. I don't think he was perfect. PFF had him graded at like a 72, I believe. I think he could play much better. But, boy, when you're talking about protecting the football, man, under pressure, Jordan's been as good as anyone in a long time, Tim, at doing that. This surprised me a little bit. I knew he was good at evading sacks, but this statistic right here kind of surprised me. And it's crazy. 11 interceptions. I was actually looking at the stats earlier. I mean, he's pretty low on the list with interceptions of the quarterbacks that's pretty much played, a large chunk of the snaps this year. Pretty neat.
Yeah, I would agree. And then think about the 11 picks he has thrown. Think about, some of those, fluke ones, a ball tipped at the line,
exactly,
ends up in someone's hands. I don't know how, do you really put that on your quarterback? I guess, but he gets credit for all of them, and I know there's some of those throws that he wanted back. but think about it. That's why he's been so good at evading pressure, is because he's learned from those mistakes. Forcing those errant throws, he's learning to 2 hands on the ball when you're in the pocket, step up and out, over, keep those legs moving, keep scanning, know when to break and get the hell out of there. Sometimes you got to do that. We've seen Jordan take off and run a couple of times. To be honest, I'd like to see him do it a little bit more, but we don't know where that knee really is, especially at this point of the season as you're, closing out the regular season. But, I think you're right, Clayton. You hit it right on the head, man. He's putting it together. Is he there? Is he completely where we want him to be, or we think he should be, or where he wants to be, or he thinks he should be? Probably not. But he's a hell of a lot closer than he was this time last year. I'll tell you that. And that's what you want to see with a young quarterback in his second year starting in this league, is steady improvement. And I think he's putting it all together.
Yeah, J. Cole in the chat. I thought J. Love equals Jameis Winston. That's what some of the so-called fans told me. Randy Cleaver says another All-Pro in the making, Jordan.
Yep.
Yeah, and here we go. Holmes MD says it too. Jordan will be an All-Pro. I think he's going to put it all together, man. I really do. And again, the turnover-worthy play percentage here, when you look at the interceptions this year, so your interception leaders are Kirk Cousins with 16, Geno Smith, Baker Mayfield with 15, Jameis Winston, Sam Darnold, Brock Purdy, C.J. Stroud, Anthony Richardson, Will Levis, and Bo Nix all with 12. Pat Mahomes, Kyler Murray, and Jordan Love have 11. So Jordan is tied for 11th most interceptions in the league. You stay outside of that top 10 while still having that big play percentage up according to PFF, I'm totally good with it, man. I really am. When you go to passer rating, when you just look at the strict passer rating on NFL Pro, Jordan Love is currently 13th at 97.3. That is higher than Brock Purdy, Matt Stafford, and Patrick Mahomes. So nobody's bashing those guys because they're winning, right? They're winning pretty much, or at least Pat Mahomes wins every week because of that defense now. Not trying to throw shade at Mahomes. Mahomes is he'll probably go down as the GOAT. There, but Jordan is definitely, I feel like he's playing a little bit better than Mahomes currently. Now, I could be wrong on that. Yards per attempt, Jordan Love is currently tied for 5th in the league with yards per attempt. Jalen Hurts has 8, so does Jordan Love and Baker Mayfield. The only quarterbacks above him are Sam Darnold, Brock Purdy, Jared Goff, and Lamar Jackson, arguably your MVP. Now, some people would say, hey, Josh Allen should be the MVP. I'm glad you mentioned his name because he actually is only at 7.7 yards per attempt. Jordan Love is 0.3 of a yard higher than him in terms of yards per attempt. So, again, and the big thing that's got me excited, Tim, is Jordan Love's completion percentage is now up to 63%. And I always use that kind of GOAT line with Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers' career completion percentage was 65%. So
65%.
65%. That's what we. Yes, sir. So listen, there's things to work on. There's no two ways about it. But it's just really cool that he's been able to evade sacks the way he has and control those turnovers here in the second half of the season. I mean, it's just absolutely huge. When you look at how many times he's been sacked, he's here. We got qualified passers only on here. So this is pretty much the guys who are the starting quarterbacks in the league, okay? Here are the quarterbacks that have taken the fewest sacks. Derek Carr with 8, albeit he's been hurt here lately. He's only played in 10 games. Mac Jones with 12. He's only played in 9 games. Cooper Rush with 13. He's only played in 11 games. Josh Allen with 16. He's been sacked. I'm sorry, Josh Allen with 14. He's only played in 16 games. Jordan Love has only played in 14 games. He has been sacked 14 times, okay? So to put that into perspective, Josh Allen's number looks worse than it is compared to Jordan's because he's played 2 more games than Jordan, but he's tied with Josh Allen in amount of sacks he's taken. Now, he's been pressured 31% of the time, so it's not like he's being pressured a league low, right? As a matter of fact, when you look at the pressure rate on quarterbacks, Jordan Love is being pressured 22nd most at 31%. So it's in the bottom half, but still he's in the top 5 in sacks taken from a lower number standpoint. Does that make sense? So He is showing all these numbers. We're looking at it. Turnover-worthy plays while under pressure, right? You look at the sacks he's taken. Taking sacks, some people look at that like it's a good thing. Well, you just take the sack, live the play for another down. No. To get rid of the freaking football, it's 1-2, throw it away. 1-2, scramble. Or in some cases, a team will, coaching staff will really stretch and go, you got to get to the third read, unless it's a pick aside, high-low read top.
Or how about 1, see that he's open and just hammer the damn throw.
Throw the ball. That's been the knock, right? When he gets that figured out, bro, I'm telling you, when he really learns, I'm just going to take. That's what Pat Mahomes is doing right now. That truly is. And people have got this big misconception that Patrick Mahomes is just winging that thing all over the yard as if Tyreek Hill's still there. That's not the case. He's just taking what the defense is giving him for sure. So, going to be interesting to see how the rest of Jordan Love's career plays out. There's no doubt about that. And I think that's it. We're all caught up on Twitter. So, again, just wanted to kind of walk through some of that with you guys. I think Jordan Love is going to be just fine. I really do. We hit the injury report, so we're good there. Tim, I feel like this is a good spot. We could probably wrap it up if you want to, man. Is there anything else you want to hit on before we call it a night here, man?
I saw something in the chat I wanted to hit on right here. Brambo. I want to see him play in rhythm in the offense and quit with the fadeaway passes. I think that's a great point.
Yep.
We talk about those plays because Jordan is really good at that, because sometimes you can't step up in the pocket. You're already scrambling backwards, and to be able to hit that fadeaway shot with any degree of accuracy is pretty impressive. I mean, that's arguably one of the hardest throws in football to make, falling backwards and throwing that ball 30 yards down the field on the numbers. But I agree with Brambo's statement here. I would like to – we've seen it in bits and pieces all year long where Matt will be in his bag with the play calls and we're methodically marching down that field. And, man, when that offense looks like it's, the wheels are turning and they're in rhythm, we are lethal with the football. You're going to put 7 on the board. The problem is we don't see that consistently. You know what I mean? We see Jordan doing these things, evading pressure and trying to make things happen, push the ball down the field, all these things. I think there's some truth to Brambo's statement here. What do you think, Clay? Am I off base there, or it just feels like sometimes, this offense, we get completions, we see them convert on, 3rd and longs a lot, but then they, sputter out on 1st or 2nd down, or we get away from the run and there's no, it's got to be a rat-a-tat. What we're looking for is a rat-a-tat. You're all rat, no tat, right, Michael Scott?
It's give and take, man. It really is. You turn on the tape one week and you see a little bit of Matt LaFleur being at fault. You turn on the tape the next week and you go, and you guys know I was very vocal in that Minnesota game. I thought it was Matt LaFleur. I'm like, man, I really didn't like how he called that game. Then you go back and watch it and go, no. He had plenty of underneath options on those first down passes for Jordan. And Jordan was just he was willing to risk it for the biscuit, baby. He was going for the 13-yard out route as opposed to checking it down on first down and picking up 6, possibly a first down moving the sticks, right? So, I think there's a lot of that. Now, the fadeaway passes, I completely agree, man. Boy, when he hits them, though, Tim.
Oh, they're a thing of beauty.
I'm not going. When he hits on a 35-yard route on a fadeaway throw, avoiding pressure, I'm not sitting at the house going, he's got to stop that fadeaway crap. I'm going, hell yeah, let's roll, baby. Let's move the sticks. So that's the emotion of being a fan, right? John, what he says here is a good point too. Packers wide receivers need to stop dropping passes. Everything we've taken into consideration, him protecting the football here lately, right? His ability to avoid the sacks. We are 4th. We have the 4th highest amount of drop passes also in the league. Now, keep in mind, I don't agree with some of those drop statistics. The Jaden Reed one where he's laying out diving for the pass, that ball should have been thrown a lot better. But hit your hands, you should catch it. Jordan needs to throw a better ball. It's on both of them. So
Wicks had one.
There's some validity here, though. If you cut the drops in half, Tim, and they were say 16th in the league in drops, you probably looking at Jordan's numbers. He's probably sitting there. A drive probably got extended and led to a touchdown. He might be sitting at 30 touchdowns this year. That could be the case.
I agree. We always talk about Matt LaFleur scheming guys open, right? And we talk about our receivers running great routes, and we talk about them getting separation. None of that means a hill of beans if you can't catch the football. You can run the best route in the world, be wide open. If you can't catch that ball, doesn't really matter.
Yeah, Chrissy in the chat said, I feel like he's hesitant with the deep ball and isn't been off because he's afraid of throwing a pick. End of last year, he was just letting it go because he had nothing to lose, and he was the best quarterback. And kind of, if you guys remember, Matt LaFleur told him last year. I remember the press conference where Matt said, I told him, just go out there and cut it loose, man. So maybe you're falling back into that a little bit more. Chris, I think you make a great point here, man. I really do. But again, it's all a process. And I know this, man. I've been very vocal. I do not expect the Packers to win the Super Bowl this year. But boy, oh boy, if they get hot in the playoffs and they go on a run and win it, what a party it'll be, man.
Yep.
We truly, people
party at A-Fam's house.
That's it. He's going to have the vegan chili for us, I'm sure, right?
Yep. He'll have a big Jordan Love mural out front for everyone to see.
So, I don't know, man. When you kind of look at it from last year, guys, people were picking us to finish dead last in the division last year, right? Dead last. And they went to the playoffs. This year, we've got 2 more wins than we did last year, and there's 1 more game to go. Possibly we'll finish with 12 wins. And, the other thing, well, Jordan didn't play in all those. You're right. He missed 2 games, and those were 2 wins. But if you think for a second, if you have so much hatred toward Jordan Love that you have convinced yourself that Jordan Love didn't have an impact on the way Malik Willis played in those games by helping him prepare, then you don't understand how the quarterback room works in the NFL. Like, it's to just pretend like Jordan had nothing to do with it. That was all Malik Willis. I'm telling you, man. I was saying the same thing about Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love as well. That first year when Jordan lit it up in the second half last year, I'm going, boy, you can see Aaron Rodgers stamped all over this. Came out of Jordan's mouth that Aaron really took him under his wing. I guarantee you Jordan did everything in his power to help prepare Malik Willis that week, those 2 weeks when he started too. So we can't just sit here and say, well, those shouldn't count toward him. They should count to everyone who's on that freaking roster. And they damn sure better count for the guy who's the personal assistant of Malik Willis that week because he couldn't play with that MCL injury. So that's just how I look at the game. It's a team sport. And I love the way this team's trending, man. I really do. Youngest team in the league, quite possibly could finish the year with 12 wins, going right back into the playoffs again. You got $62 million in cap next year, probably going to fade out to about $40 million you can spend if you want to this free agency. But the reality, too, is they may look up at the end of the year going a little bit of a playoff run and go, I like our roster. Let's roll $40 million in cap to the next year and really be a powerhouse, right? So could be the case. Anything else you got, man, as we wrap up here, dude?
No, I think we covered it. Caught up on the chat.
Yep. I think we're good, man. And you guys were awesome in there. If you would hit that like button for us, feel free to sub to the channel if you're new here. Hopefully nobody scared you in the chat. Hopefully AFAM didn't scare you away with that mustache. We're a little worried about that from time to time, all right? So
one more from Chris C. We're a better team this year. Unfortunately, so are two other NFC North teams.
Exactly.
So
and
true.
That is called NFL football, baby.
Yep.
I'm telling you. I do feel like if you looked at the way the Bears are built, the way the Lions are built, the way the Vikings are built, the way the Packers are built, you would find much, much more people that would say, over the next 5 years, which team do you pick to have more longer sustained success? They would probably pick the Packers, being the youngest team and having all this already in place. You look at the Vikings, Aaron Jones is not going to last much longer, probably another year or two would be my guess. Sam Darnold, you don't even know if he's going to be your quarterback next year, right? There's rumors that they're already thinking about shopping J.J. McCarthy. I think that would be a smart move and move forward with Sam Darnold. But, boy, how funny would it be, Tim, if they spent a first-round pick on J.J. McCarthy, traded him, gave Darnold the bag, and then Darnold regressed back to his normal. That would be hilarious. I don't see it happening the way he's played this year, but, boy, that would be funny. So we'll see, though, man. Holmes says, this show sucks. Good evening. I completely agree, Holmes. Hope you have a good night, buddy. Anything else, Tim?
No, that's it. Go Pack, go, man. Bears still suck. You already know.
There it is. All right. We'll be back in the morning. I think, Tim, you're going to be out in the morning. Appreciate you, buddy. Let me know. It's all good. Yep. I'm going to do my best to get on early tomorrow, normal time, I should say, 8:30 Central Time. We're going to do a morning show. I'm going to pack up all my equipment. Got to hit the road. Got to stop by Knoxville, hit Chattanooga. I'm going to try to set everything up in Chattanooga where we can do an evening show. We'll do a normal morning and evening show on Saturday. And then Sunday, my plan is to do a morning show, pack everything up, watch the game on the ride back home, and then do a post-game show as soon as I roll back into town sideways in the driveway with the neighbors.
I love it. So Mad Max style, man. You're a road warrior, Clayton.
We're going to try to do it. We'll see. With that being said, we'll probably fail miserably and there'll be no shows all weekend long. We're going to do our best to make it happen for sure. M. Smitty says, Clayton, absolutely. As you say, we are building a team, not just collecting talent. I love it, man. Love it. And again, that's a Bill Belichick quote that I think it actually came from Bill Walsh originally, but Belichick lived and died by that. So, all right, guys, we're out. Appreciate y'all. We will see you tomorrow morning for Good Morning Lambeau. Tim, thank you for your time, man. You have safe travels, whatever you're doing tomorrow. And, we'll talk to y'all soon. Everybody have a great evening. And, by the way, go Irish. Sorry, Georgia fans. Classy organization, classy school. You've become the staple in college football, so there's no disrespect there. Just know that your program is at such a level, it made that win seem so much more for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, man. That was just to see them go out there and handle Georgia the way they did, man. I got nothing but respect for Kirby Smart and what he's built in Georgia. So it makes me feel really good about what these Irish are going to do moving forward. So anyway, everybody have a great evening. Take care.
There we go.
Bye, guys.